It's a site that draws people to Lake Coeur d'Alene every winter.
It was a jaw drop for me.
We come out here every year just to get pictures of the eagles.
Hundreds of bald eagles and photographers flocking to one area year after year.
44 adults and 7 juveniles for Beauty Bay.
We're taking a look at the work that goes behind counting the annual spectacle. Plus, the breathtaking shots coming from our very own local photographers.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm Amanda Rowley. Every winter, hundreds of bald eagles make their annual migration to Lake Coeur d'Alene to feed on spawning kokanee. This spectacle draws in many from the inland Northwest and beyond to catch the remarkable phenomena. But the totals this winter were nowhere close to last winter's record number. This winter, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management counted a high of 284 eagles, which is on par with previous winter peaks. But last winter, Lake Coeur d'Alene hosted a record total of 409. So then why such a drastic difference in just 1 year? The BLM says there are a variety of factors that affect the number of eagles we see each year, a primary factor being the number of spawning kokanee in Lake Coeur d'Alene.
Maybe it wasn't quite as good, or maybe it was just that there were other lakes nearby that also had a great kokanee spawn, giving the eagles lots of choices for where they might want to hang out.
Still, the BLM says the number of eagles over the last few decades are increasing, particularly in the inland Northwest. They say every year across the nation, volunteers count eagles during the first 2 weeks of January. BLM says that data shows a trend of eagle totals increasing in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. Now, there is a lot that goes into tracking the number of eagles visiting Lake Coeur d'Alene each winter. It can be especially tricky counting these wild birds that are constantly on the move. KREM 2's photojournalist Dave Summers traveled to Beauty Bay on Lake Coeur d'Alene. That's where the woman responsible for the weekly BLM eagle count shares how it's done.
5 adults and 1 juvenile.
2 more adults, 2 adults and a juvenile. 44 adults and 7 juveniles for Beauty Bay. My name is Carrie Hugo. I'm a wildlife biologist for the Bureau of Land Management in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I count once a week, starting in mid-November and go through the middle of January or until there aren't any eagles around anymore. It's a 12-mile route that I do. It starts at what used to be called the Beach House, which is now a marina on Coeur d'Alene Lake Drive. And it goes to Higgins Point and then comes out and goes around Blue Creek Bay, the head of Wolf Lodge Bay, and then I end right over here in Beauty Bay. Ooh, nice. A juvenile just came down right there, right by the road. It's good. It's not as high as last year. Last year was a record year. I counted 409 on December 20th. So that was a huge year, the most I've ever counted. But this year's still looking pretty good. Last week I counted 281, I believe. So there's still plenty of eagles. Just getting to the right spot to view them is the tricky part. Adult bald eagles are the ones that have the white head and tail. Juvenile bald eagles don't get that white head and tail until they're in their 4th year. I just have an area that I count, so I stay until I've counted every eagle that I can see on that spot. So when there's lots more eagles, I'm there a lot longer. I used to think I needed a clicker, but I've been doing it so long that I don't use one anymore. I just keep it all in my head and write it down as I go. And I do get asked a lot, how do you know you don't count them twice? So I always tell people I know I'm counting them twice. It's a 12-mile route. They move around in between my stops, but I also know I'm missing some too. So it's a trend. There aren't exactly 281 eagles on Lake Coeur d'Alene. It's just a ballpark that tells us whether numbers are up this year, down this year. We're hitting the peak and now it's going down. So it just gives us an idea of the approximate abundance of bald eagles on Lake Coeur d'Alene. They're purely here for these kokanee. It's a seasonal thing, and then they move on south. So some of them will head down to the Snake River Plain in southern Idaho. Others will head over to the Klamath Basin in Oregon. Some will go all the way down to New Mexico. So they're just here for this little time, a couple months of time before they move on.
Now, November marks the beginning of a season that wildlife photographers likely look forward to all year. That is when the bald eagles begin to migrate to Lake Coeur d'Alene. I went to Higgins Point to catch up with photographers who are drawn to this wildlife spectacle.
As the early morning mists begin to rise, the paparazzi descends on Lake Coeur d'Alene. They stake out along the shore, hoping to capture migrating celebrities.
So there's one right there.
Jay Hoover and Mark Hendrickson are amateur wildlife photographers.
If you can get action pictures of them diving down, catching a fish, is always good.
They're among the many shutterbugs who flock to Coeur d'Alene for the bald eagles.
Not very many people have this opportunity, and
A lot of people have never seen an eagle before, and we have so many of them right here that you can just come and watch them.
Each winter, a migrating population of bald eagles visits the Lake Coeur d'Alene area from interior Alaska and Canada. They come to feast on spawning kokanee and occasionally fight for their meal.
no.
He dropped it.
The returning number of eagles varies from year to year, reaching a couple hundred.
Straight ahead from me, there's 2 eagles.
He's probably getting ready to fly here.
The returning number of eagles varies from year to year, reaching a couple hundred. This winter, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management's weekly count peaked at 284 eagles. That's not even close to last winter's record total of 409. Which means photographers must keep a sharp eye to capture America's bird in action.
If you watch them for a while, sometimes you'll get lucky enough to see them take off.
It's a test of patience. Some spend hours waiting for the perfect shot.
It's just a challenge for me to see if I can get them flying or fighting or trying to catch a fish.
I'm trying to get the diving into the water and pulling out the fish.
Eventually, it happens.
Yes. Oh, he's going down. It was a jaw drop for me. So I'm just kind of vibrating because I thought, I got it. I even told my dog, I got it.
It's a moment Julie Wagner hoped to see on her holiday visit.
Like, he's just beautiful. He's so beautiful. I just can't get over how beautiful he is.
And she didn't need the big guns to get the shot.
Did you get some good shots?
She used her phone.
Wonderful.
Still, having a big lens doesn't hurt. Just look at this stunning shot.
I envy you guys with your big cameras.
By the afternoon, the eagle frenzy calms.
Truly a highlight for me.
But you can bet the paparazzi will be back at it again soon. In Coeur d'Alene, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, still ahead on our in-depth look at the Coeur d'Alene Eagles.
To see the eagles and to see the land around me and not have to be stuck in a classroom with fluorescent lighting is really, really special.
Higgins Point provides a unique opportunity for Lake City High School students, how they're learning by the lake next.
This time of year we get lots of eagle photos.
Plus, as many gather around the lake, we take a look at the economic impact the eagles bring to North Idaho. Welcome back to KREM 2's Coeur d'Alene Eagles Special. Photographers aren't the only ones visiting Lake Coeur d'Alene to watch the bald eagles. Coeur d'Alene's Lake City High School also takes advantage of this annual display with its Outdoor Studies program. The program combines U.S. history, English, and science classes. Students take multiple field trips in the community each year to see firsthand what they've learned in the classroom. We caught up with their field trip to Higgins Point in December. That's where students got to experience what they learned in class about the ecological relations between eagles and the kokanee salmon.
I didn't really know anything about the salmon cycle and the fact that the eagles come here because this is where the salmon die. There's just a lot of stuff that you don't really know when you lived here your whole life, and the program itself is really good to teach you stuff like that.
Students completed 5 sketches on this trip, demonstrating their knowledge of what they learned about the eagles and the salmon. Well, it's no secret tourism is one of the top industries in North Idaho. But what about during the off season? Well, over the years, KREM 2 has checked in on how the bald eagle season boosts business in the area. Michael D's Eatery is near the Coeur d'Alene Resort Golf Course. They previously told KREM 2 on Eagle weekends they see more business than usual. Meanwhile, the Coeur d'Alene Resort offers eagle watching cruises. Dan Dolezal owns the Camera Corral in Coeur d'Alene. He says the eagles are a welcome sign.
Selling lenses. It's our big chance to sell the big guns, the big boys. The eagles are out there. People are coming in and we're seeing the pictures.
Dan says he also makes money printing tons of eagle photos. Many are stunning images that photographers spend hours hunting for. Now, we asked you, our viewers and local photographers, to share your favorite photos of bald eagles this winter. Take a look. And that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching our special look at Coeur d'Alene's bald eagles. For more content, stay right here on KREM 2+. It's free to download on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Thanks for joining.
Well, there's one right there. And this one in the tree is a good shot. It's a beautiful picture.
It was a jaw drop for me. I'm just kind of vibrating.
It's a special time of year to see them here.
I was just tickled I got some. On mornings like this when there's hundreds of them over on the other side of the shore at first light, it's pretty neat.
But when the kokanee numbers start to go down, they get a little more feisty. One went down to get a fish and then two more chased after it. They really are a magnificent bird.